All right, here we go. It's Soul Canyon Kitchen Recipe Day, and today I am making an oil-free version of my most favorite zucchini bread. I can't wait for you guys to try this, and if you're watching this, then you know it worked, because usually I make this with a little oil, but I've been dying to try it without. So are you ready? This is delicious, this recipe. And all you have to do when you're trying to do an oil-free recipe is to add something else that has some fat in it. So today I'm going to use yogurt for that because I've done that before with great success. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is you guys can just do this by hand, or you can do it with a hand mixer, but I love my stand mixer, so I'm going to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wet ingredients, which is my applesauce. And I'm doing a double version, so the recipe's for a single loaf. But I have a very cool size and strange pan. It's quite big and I need double. And then that gives Lloyd half and me half. Okay, so I do that and the vanilla and the yogurt. Get every little bit of that yogurt because that is our oil replacement. The applesauce will add some moisture also. Okay. Okay, so now we start adding the dry ingredients. And before we do this, I'm gonna just add all the spices. So normally with these kind of breads, people put nutmeg in, but I'm not crazy about nutmeg, so I always use cloves instead. But I love cinnamon, I love cloves. And I do use some pumpkin spice that's called pumpkin pie spice, and it has a little nutmeg in it. That way I like it because it has much more pumpkin. So I'm just gonna throw my pumpkin spice in there and my cinnamon and my cloves. Look, cloves are so beautiful. And to me, they're like a superfood spice. And then some salt and baking powder. And I'm gonna give this a little whisk around before I just add it to my mixer, but my mixer is going to do a good job of that. But if you're doing it by hand, you want to just get this mixed together nicely, and then I'll add the flour. So here we go. We're putting the dry ingredients in. May have been dusty, but it was a good smelling dust storm. Okay, so that's mixed. I'm going to add my sugar. Okay, so that's it. See how easy that was? And honestly, you guys, now all that's left is to add my shredded zucchini and my walnuts. But let me give you a couple tips. So first of all, when you shred your zucchini, you can just use a hand shredder and you can shred it thicker than this and you'll see little zucchini strands in your bread. That's fine and it's delicious. But what I do want to tell you is zucchini has a lot of water, as most vegetables. That's why they're so healthy, because they give you all the vitamins and minerals in their water. But in this recipe, we need to take that out because there's too much liquid. So when you shred your zucchini, put it in a bowl. And you can put it in a nut milk bag and just squeeze it out. But what I just do, I just have my bowl by my sink and I take a handful and I just squeeze it like this, and you won't believe how much liquid comes out. It was the same that I did in my squash patty recipe, because you want to take some of that liquid out. So you can see all the liquid is out. So now I'm going to just add my zucchini and I'm going to give it a little whiz around. You don't want to overmix this. At this point, you're just trying to get the zucchini blended in, and same with the walnuts. Okay. That should be good. Okay. Now, we take this out. And these extra walnuts, I'm going to decorate the top. So I've got my oven preheating to 350, and I'm going to be putting this batter in this pan, put my walnuts on the top, and then the magic happens. It looks really moist already. This is fantastic texture. This is really the texture you want. Nice and moist at this point. The great thing about vegan baking is at this point you can eat it and it's good. I've just lined my bottom of my pan. I sprayed it really slightly with a little bit of oil, but I've also just usually lined it with a pan. But what I like to do is spray it with oil and then put the parchment paper because then it sticks to it. That's what I did here. So you can see some of the zucchini, but mostly it just blends in. And those walnuts, if you don't like nuts, don't put them in. You want to put chocolate chips in? Fine, but walnuts are healthier. That is good. Okay, so let's just smooth this out. You know, half of a recipe is when you make and when you bake and when you make recipes. It's about making beautiful food and having feelings of joy when you're doing it, because then the other people really experience that in the sensation of eating a recipe. That's it. Now we're going to put it in the oven. It's going to take a while because I have a big pan, probably an hour and a half. But if you're making the single recipe, then you're going to do it's somewhere between an hour, probably in an hour and 10 minutes. Just put your knife in and it has to come out clean. Okay, so it's been an hour and 30 minutes and it's exactly what I thought it would take, but I always check it with a knife in the center and it needs to come out clean. And remember, I'm making a double recipe. So if you're making this recipe, yours is going to be about an hour and 10 minutes, maybe 15, but check it at an hour with a knife and make sure it comes out clean. I love this loaf. Look at that. It's so incredible. So now we need to, and I'm really excited about this oil-free version. So now we need to flip it over and try to get it. I know we're gonna lose some walnuts, but hey, nice. Okay, now the hard part. Look at that, that's a masterpiece. One delicious zucchini bread. And I know it because I've made it a lot of times, but this is the first time I've made it oil-free, so I can't wait to try it. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little piece off the end because it really should sit a couple more hours and cool off, but I can't wait to taste it. So let me try this, and then I'm gonna taste it again after it cools. But I can't wait to try this. All right, here we go. It's really moist, which is amazing for oil-free. And the other thing is it's not so sweet, which is what I like. I prefer it when it's not so sweet. Really good. I look forward to trying this in another couple hours because and tomorrow it'll be totally different. All right, I'll be back. I'm gonna let it cool and then I'll be back for another taste. Okay, so it's been a couple hours. It's a little more cooled. It'll be better even tomorrow, but I brought the Sweet Master down here to taste it. You ready?
I'm ready. Look at all those walnuts.
I know, that's for you, baby. Okay, let's try it. Look at that. This is your first time. Oil-free.
And less sugar.
Yep.
Smoking hot.
And I'll give you an extra walnut. Yeah, the inside's still warm. That's why tomorrow it'll be a whole different experience. Ooh.
I don't think you can taste that there's no oil in it or any different.
Yeah, it tastes the same. I just put the yogurt in instead of oil because yogurt has enough fat in it.
I don't know. That's plenty sweet for me.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Most people may expect this to be like a cake, but this is a zucchini bread. If you guys like something really sweet, then just add more sugar. But
hey,
honestly,
you should be very impressed that this is made out of a vegetable.
Yeah, what a great way to get zucchini.
Being a guy that
and look at all
has
those
a difficult time with vegetables my whole life.
Yeah, and there's so many healing spices and just all the nuts. You can see all the nuts throughout. Of course, the nuts on the top just
I give it 2 thumbs up. Good job.
approved.